Central London, gripped by tension. A sea of red and white flags fills the streets as more than 100,000 march under the banner of Tommy Robinson's Unite the Kingdom. Police in riot gear brace for clashes, counter-protesters shout back, and the capital finds itself on edge. This is Britain's largest right-wing rally in modern times, and it's shaking the nation. Central London was the scene of one of the largest right-wing demonstrations in modern British history on September 13th, as tens of thousands took to the streets under the banner of the Unite the Kingdom March. Police estimates suggest around 110,000 people attended the rally, organised by far-right activist Tommy Robinson, while a counter-protest by Stand Up to Racism drew roughly 5,000. The Metropolitan Police said officers had to intervene repeatedly to stop Robinson's supporters breaching cordons and entering sterile areas separating the two groups. By late afternoon, 9 people had been arrested after scuffles broke out and officers were assaulted. Police described some scenes as unacceptable violence, prompting the deployment of reinforcements with protective equipment and mounted units. Commander Claire Haynes, who led the operation, said officers were determined to balance public safety with the right to protest.
As an education, I think we have to welcome everyone. The idea of hate is divided us, and I think the more that we welcome people, the stronger we are as a country.
There's a fear that the far right are trying to take over. So there's a fear of the rise of that sort of thing, but also the way immigrants and asylum seekers are blamed for what's wrong here. It's totally wrong. It's totally wrong. And I think it's racist.
More than 1,600,000 officers were deployed across London for the day, 500 of them brought in from other forces. The scale of the operation was compounded by high-profile football matches and concerts taking place elsewhere in the capital. Despite a heavy police presence, the rally's symbolism was unmistakable. Demonstrators carried the Union flag and the red and white St. George's Cross, while others brought American and Israeli flags. Some wore Donald Trump's Make America Great Again hats. Placards carried slogans such as Send Them Home, Stop the Boats, and We Want Our Country Back. A large wooden cross inscribed with Rip Charlie Kirk was also seen, honouring the American conservative activist shot dead earlier in the week.
Well, look, I didn't agree with everything that Charlie Kirk ever said, but I have to say that he stood for some fundamental values which I did agree with, fundamentally for family, for culture, for country, and these seem to be things that are unfortunately lost within our times, amongst our youth, and he was part of the counterculture that fought against this, and it really is a shame that he's taken away from us too soon.
I never met him, but I used to watch him on YouTube. And I like the Christian way of life. I wouldn't say I was a Christian, but I had a lot of respect for the man, and I agreed with a lot of what he had to say.
What do you think his legacy is?
That we will all start speaking out. We will all become a Charlie, and we won't be scared to do it.
Probably, I would say, his biggest legacy now will be millions and millions and millions of young people who will now see the light.
All sides, and I hate to say this, but all sides of the political spectrum have their radical aspects. Every ideology has its fanatics, and it has to stop. And one thing Charlie Kirk did is he very much advocated against violence, especially political violence. He said when people stop talking, bad stuff starts, and I very much agree with that. We need to keep talking to each other. We need to keep humanizing each other above everything, whether you're a leftist, a socialist, a conservative, anything. As long as it's what you say, it should be accepted.
The demonstration capped a tense summer in Britain, with repeated protests outside hotels housing migrants. Immigration has increasingly dominated the political agenda, overtaking economic concerns, as more than 28,000 people have crossed the channel in small boats so far this year. Tommy Robinson, whose real name is Stephen Yaxley Lennon, framed the march as both a defence of free speech and a memorial to Charlie Kirk. Addressing the crowd, he said Britain's political establishment had failed the people.
There are millions out for the Unite the Kingdom Free Speech Festival today. Any mainstream media who prints anything otherwise are lying.
So feel free to call them out on their bullshit and send this video their way. Robinson has long described himself as a journalist exposing state wrongdoing and counts high-profile figures among his supporters. Elon Musk, the billionaire owner of X, appeared via video link at the rally, delivering remarks that electrified the crowd. Either fight back or you die. A dissolution of parliament is needed and a change of government must come. Musk also railed against the woke mind virus as he spoke at Tommy Robinson's rally in London. The crowd erupted into chants of Elon Musk and Elon following his intervention. But his remarks drew swift criticism from Liberal Democrat leader Ed Davey. The presence of children, families and religious symbols alongside nationalist slogans underlined the rally's mix of cultural identity and political anger. While many framed it as a movement of national pride, anti-racism groups warned it carried messages of hostility to migrants and Muslims. Britain's largest anti-immigrant political force, Reform UK, which has been leading recent opinion polls, kept its distance from Robinson, wary of his criminal record and controversies. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Keir Starmer offered no public comment on the day's events. Instead, he was seen at Arsenal's Premier League match against Nottingham Forest, sitting in the stands with his son as the demonstration unfolded across London. For police and policymakers alike, the rally illustrated both the scale of nationalist mobilisation and the risks of rising political polarisation. With immigration set to dominate the political landscape for months to come, this march showed just how deeply the issue now defines Britain's public debate.